G'day, my name's Darryl Webb, and today we're going to have a look at the Goal Zero Lighthouse Micro Flash. A lot of words. Anyway, let's get into it. I carry a small little kit whenever I sort of go out into the bush. Doesn't matter if I'm car camping or camping out of a kayak or a canoe or a boat, hiking, whatever. I usually always carry a small little kit that sort of has a lot of little essentials. The kit's sort of a cross between a first aid kit, come emergency kit, come, you know, it's the stuff I use. And I wanted to add a little lantern to it. And there's a few sort of different ones to choose from. I was looking at the LED lenser and things like that. They're all a little bit heavier, a little bit bigger. Obviously, like the LED lenser, is a lot more powerful as well. But obviously run times at those full powers is pretty poor, as you can imagine. They all use the same type of batteries. This one, it just sort of took the trumps. I thought I'd take a gamble on it because it's light, it's compact, and it's cheap. I bought this one on Wild Earth's website, on their eBay store, and it was, I think, remember, $136.95 or something like that. I'll put a link in the description below so you can check it out. That's the best price I could find them for. But at that price, I've got to say, it's a pretty good little unit, and I thought it would just be something I'd use occasionally if I was hiking or whatnot. But I've actually found, you know, when a product's sort of good, I keep on using it. I use this more than just about everything else now. This is one of the things that I use all the time. Every time I'm out, I was like, yep, maybe I'm fishing down the riverbank, I take it down the riverbank. It's just a real handy little item. And the fact it's got a little torch in it as well is a huge bonus. Okay, first off, we'll just start with some of the specs. I've actually got them written down here. So as far as the actual brightness and things like that, the lantern itself is 150 lumens, and the torch is 120 lumens, the torch on top. Run times, it'll give you basically the light, the torch will give you 100 hours on low and 8.5 hours on high. And when you have the lantern lit, you can either light one side up or full, so that 360 degree view. At 360 degree, it'll give you 7 hours on high and 80 hours on low. And if you're on one side lit, which is the way I quite often use it, just to light, you know, 180 degree field of view, it'll give you 15 hours on high and 170 hours on low. On low, it's 10 lumens, so it's still actually bright enough to use as like a night light or something like that. So it's still, that is actually usable, or for reading. Anyway, what else can I sort of say about it? Okay, so the battery cell type, it's an 18650. If you actually look at it, you can sort of tell that this thing is pretty much an 18650 with a torch built around it. It uses LG chemistry or Samsung chemistry. It's a 2600 milliamp hour battery. It says hundreds of cycles. And it's a 1 amp charge. The charger is built into the bottom of it, so you just plug it into a port. You can go sort of that way or like that, however you need it. So it does actually plug into just about every port, and it weighs 68 grams. So considering a good 18650 battery weighs a bit over 40 grams, this is about as light a little lantern as you're gonna get. More of the specs with its sort of usability. It takes about 3 to 3.5 hours to charge, I've sort of found. Its run times of 15 hours on with only half the lamp lit up seem to be really true. I think maybe it actually runs a little bit longer than that. You will notice towards the end it starts to dim, and you've actually got a little built-in, when you turn it on, there's a couple of little lights right at the top. You probably can't see them, but they light up blue, and it's 4 bars, and it sort of, when you see it's down, by the time it's down to 1 bar, the light is starting to dim. The colour temperature of the lights I really like. I think it's 3500 or 3800 Kelvin, so it's actually a warm sort of sunny look, the actual main lens. And the torch itself is even a bit more yellow. It's 3000 Kelvin. I find it quite pleasant on the eyes. You know, a lot of LED stuff these days, it's up, you know, 5,000-6,000 K, and it's a really harsh white, nearly verging on blue. This guy reminds me of an old school petrol lantern or kerosene lantern. It's just that nice. It's actually brighter, but it's but that nice yellow. Now we can sort of look at the build quality. When I seen pictures of this online, to me it actually looked a little bit cheaply made. Just things like the way the chrome, just chrome plated plastic. But now that I've been using it for sort of 6 months, I've found that it's really sturdy. I quite often sit it on top of a shovel that's shoved on the ground, and you know, and light up the campsite with it. And a couple of times it's been bumped off, and it survived it. It hasn't really got any marks. It's got a couple of little bits of dust on it, But besides that, it still looks like new. So the build quality is actually a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. The user interface. It's pretty much got one button on top. And I've heard people complain about it. I don't find it's too hard to press. It's good because it doesn't get turned on by accident in your bag or anything like that. And you press it once, the torch comes on. Press it again, all 4 lights come on, so 360 degree. Press it again and 2 of the lights turn off, so it's only half lit. And in any of those functions, if you want to dim it, just hold your finger on it and it dims down to not very much. The dimming is pulse width modulation, so the camera will react to it. You'll see it actually get banding in the camera lens. With my eyes, I'm pretty sensitive to pulse width modulation. I can usually pick it. It's not terrible. If you're annoyed by it, then it might be a problem. It doesn't actually bother me. But I have sort of found that because it's not a huge bright lantern, I virtually never dim it anyway. I usually have it on one side lit, 180 degrees, and run it flat out. Sometimes if I've got it closer to, if we can't have a fire or something like that because of where we are, I'll actually light a whole lot up and I'll just run it on flat out because you get really good run times with it. So that's it sort of for its features, what it does. It's I think it's IPX66, so I guess it's waterproof, showerproof type thing. Has a little bail arm on top, but I've got to say, it doesn't come with anything to actually hitch up on. This doesn't actually come with it. That was just something I had, a little baby carabiner. So you need to find a little tiny carabiner or something if you want to hook it onto lines, or you have to thread it through yourself. Not a big issue. Bit of pros and cons. Pro is the price. It's a great deal for the price. I've been really happy with it. I might even buy an extra one just to have one that lives in the car as well. It's just a really handy item to have. Other pros, it's I don't know, it's just good. It's really good. It's a bright little unit. I really like it. I'd highly recommend it. Cons. What cons can I find? It would have been nice if this could either unclip so you could put it around a line easy without having to find your own little D-ring or something like that. Like, it's alright, it's better than having no bail arm or something, that's for sure, but it's good. Besides that, I can't really find any cons. The only thing I wish it didn't do was pulse width modulation when you dim it. If you're someone that's sensitive to it, it's sort of a deal breaker for some people. As I said, I don't really run it dimmed at all. And if you film or something like that and you want to use this as your light source, you have to run it flat out, otherwise the dimming, the camera will pick it up and it will look bad. But besides that, it's not really any cons. It works. It does a really good job. Who would I recommend this for? Okay, so anyone who wants a lightweight lamp that's compact, that needs a lantern. You know, if you camp places that you can't have fires in for a bit of ambience, this does a really good job. If you want something that's really bright, I'd say, and you might only need it for an hour, I'd say get something different. The LED lenses, their versions of these, they're all like, 500 plus lumens. They light up a big area really bright. This guy doesn't do a huge job of that. It lights up nicely. I find it handy for cooking, handy for just having around the campfire, especially if you can't have a fire. But even someone's with a fire, I still stick it up on a shovel handle or hang it on a bit of bark on the tree and put it on 180, and it does a really good job. So I have to give this one, I have to give this 5 stars. It's exceeded my expectations by a lot. I'm really happy with it, and I'll keep on using it. If I broke it tomorrow, I'd definitely buy another one for sure, 100%. Anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you like more gear reviews and hiking and all the other things we do out here in the bush and fishing, then hit the subscribe button. Catch you later. Bye.